Hey everyone, Mr. Mom Collectibles here. I'm really excited to share with you this unboxing of the War Machine Mark 1 reissue from Iron Man 2. I'm really excited to get this one finally in hand. It's taken a little while to get it. I know it's been delayed a little while, but I was able to finally get it in and take a look at it, open it up, and I'm really excited to have this one in the collection with my other Iron Man figures. This is the, like I said, the reissue of the Mark 1 War Machine from Iron Man 2 from Hot Toys. I'm really excited to get this one opened up and take a look at everything that comes with. I'm not a huge War Machine fan myself in the sense of I don't collect every single one of the suits. This is the one and only that I will have in my collection. I think that this is the best representation of the figure, unlike Iron Man, where you can get quite a few different versions of him. I feel like this is the biggest, beefiest version, which I like the best. I think that the suits, as the movies progressed, got a little too thin, in my opinion. And then when they moved on to the final Iron Patriot Mark II, I believe it is, from Endgame, he just beefed up beyond belief. So that one was definitely not one of my favorites. So when Hot Toys reissued this guy, I got a chance to grab this one. I was super excited. As I said, this will be my one and only War Machine representation in my collection. So I really wanted to make sure I had the right one for, and the only one. So in my opinion, unlike Iron Man, whereas more suits progressed, you could argue that the later suits, there were ones that were better than others, not necessarily any of the originals. But in this case, I think the Mark 1 War Machine is definitely the best suit that they made. So like I said, let's take a look at it. Let's open it up. I'll open up all the accessories, see what it comes with, and get some poses on it. So stay tuned. So this is the figure unboxed. I unboxed the figure, and the only thing that I did to it was I put the Gatling gun on the figure itself, only because obviously that's what's required for it. But as you can see, this thing is unbelievable. The presence that this thing commands is just it's outstanding. I have a couple other Iron Man in my collection, but this thing is just great. He's big, he's beefy, he's got some weight to him. He's a tank. That's the best way of putting it. It's a tank. And like I said, it's a shame that the future incarnations of this figure or this character, I feel like the suits got slimmer. They incorporated not necessarily the nanotech, but they definitely took some cues, I think, from some of the nanotech suits from Iron Man, and made the suit thinner, more compact, if you want to say that. But I like the big beefy version with all the chain guns and everything like that. So this is the version that is my favorite. So I'll pose them up with the head, as you can see. And there's the Gatling gun. I'll go into a little more in-depth review on this in a moment. So you can see this comes with two head sculpts. This is the one with the light up LED, so the eyes light up. And then the other sculpt is with the Lieutenant Rhodes head sculpt, which is fantastic. I think it's really underrated. I think because this figure is a reissue, it doesn't get a lot of props, I think, in the community, because like I said, it's a reissue. But for me, having it for the first time, I'm absolutely blown away by everything that comes with this. As you can see, it's not perfect. It has some scuffs from its battle in Iron Man 2, right down to the feet. And this thing is it's got weight to it. So I'll just do a side profile view of it as well. And see the guns there. It's just beefy. Unbelievable. Like, I knew this figure was going to be big when I got it, when I was waiting for it, but I honestly didn't really realize it was going to be this huge. So it has some great presence. So you can see this is the Gatling chain gun that comes with. And as I said, this is really cool. It's really, using the actual bullet rounds. As you can see, the sleeve that goes into the gun from the back. But as the, suits got more technologically advanced, if you will, the gun got smaller, more compact. Just wasn't a fan of it. So this comes separate out of the box. So the gun, the arm, the chain of the ammo is all separate. So you have to put that together. It's very simple. The gun goes on the arm, and then this actually slides side to side right here, as you can see. So there's a little bit of a slot here. So the gun can actually go either on the left side or the right side, because obviously in the movies, in Iron Man 2, at the end scene, when they were fighting Whiplash, the gun was going all over the place. It was going backwards, front, left, right. So you can really pose this thing up however you want. Just depending on how you move this, you might have to reconfigure the chain. I have it on this side just for posability, but as you can see, it has a really great range of motion, how the gun can really go pretty much all degrees. But as I said, depending on where you pose this, the chain, as you can see, you might have to kind of reconfigure that. But this goes right into the back here, and then it goes right into the gun there. It just pushes in. There's nothing really, there's no clips or anything to hold it. But the gun itself can rotate on both sides, the left side or the right side of the shoulder. So it depends on how you want to pose the figure. Like I said, I have it on this side, just for the sake of the review. But for posing, I might move it to the other side. But either way, it's going to be accurate enough. But this thing, like I said, it's got weight to it. Unbelievable figure. And I don't have a Mark 6. I'm hoping that gets reissued, but at the end of the video, I'll put some poses up with it, with the closest thing that I have, which is the Mark 7, which is still one of my top 3 Iron Man suits. And I'll even pose it with the Mark 5 too, even though those two suits never saw any screen time together, just to give you a context of scale. But as you can see, it's the figure itself. And this plate comes off, which would be the light up, and then it has a little jaw piece that drops down as it would in the film. So that's really great. So this is, you know, put the batteries in. I don't personally usually put a lot of the batteries in my figures because A, they're really a pain to get to, and B, they do not last. I know a lot of the figures are going to LED now, but this is a direct reissue of the original, so it is all battery, so I will elect to keep those out of my figure for now. It's not a big deal. But this is the figure itself out of the box. So what I'll do now is we'll take a look at the accessories, the base, which I think is great, you know, and we'll take a look at everything it comes with. And also it comes with a lot of different plates, battle damage plates. So what I'll do is I'll take the figure. This is the clean version, even though you see there's a lot of scratching on there. You know, those are normal imperfections to show realistic, you know, markings and abrasions on the suit. But there is various plates that are battle damaged, like I said, from the final battle when they with Whiplash Mark II. So what I'll do is I will replace all those plates, including the sculpt, so you can see what it looks like in its battle damage form. And like I said, I will couple that with a couple Iron Man figures that I have that I think best represents. So stay tuned. All right, so this is everything that the figure comes with, minus the flight pole, but it's a standard flight pole with a grabber that comes with every single figure. But we could first start with the base. I really like that this is a diorama style base. Not many figures are coming with these, but this one is a really great figure base. It represents the final battle between the Mark 6 Iron Man and with the Whiplash. So you see like there's a remnants of a hammer drone that they fought at the end of Iron Man 2. But there's so much detail that goes into this. Between the paint application, looks really fantastic, as you see from the battle damaged drone there to the ground, the texture. What I really like about this base particular is that not only is it a diorama piece, but there's no markings on it that indicate, you know, it has a nameplate like, you know, War Machine Mark II, Iron Man, or like a metallic plate like usually regular display bases have. What I like about this is it gives you versatility and posability with not only the War Machine figure, but other figures. You don't need to have any Iron Man. You could potentially put, you know, Spider-Man, Batman, you know, RoboCop, whoever it may be. I mean, it's really great depending on how you know, if you're into photography like I am. This base can definitely be one of the most versatile bases that I have in my collection right now, just because, as I said, there's no markings. There are other bases that are like this that still might have the nameplate. So when you're using it for photography, you might have to move the base a certain direction to disguise the nameplate, or some people just photograph it with the plate on there. But the fact that there's no marking indication on this is a real plus for me. Like I said, the paint application is really great. There's a lot of detail on this. They could have just left it, you know, with no drone and just have it the grass with the rock, with the water. Because remember the scene had like a little bit of water, like it was in a forest type atmosphere. But there's so much detail just put into the base alone. It has a really nice amount of weight to it. So like I said, there's the hole there for the flight pole or the stand that you can mount the figure on, but a lot of versatility with this. So this one's a home run for me. I really like this. This is one of my most favorite bases that I have right now with the figure, just because I'm definitely gonna keep this one out because of the versatility. A lot of my accessories that I use, that I have for my figures, I put them in Ziploc bags in storage. They don't actually go back into the boxes, so that way when I'm photographing stuff, I have quick access. But a lot of the display bases I actually pack up with the figures because they're all generic, so I don't usually keep too many of them out. But this is one that's definitely going to stay under my light box, that I might break it out. I was actually just doing some photography with a Bane figure, and it looks really great. So this is one that's a home run for me that definitely will be staying, and I'll be using it for a lot of other applications. Now, the next thing to touch on, aside from that, is the head sculpt. And as you can see here, this head sculpt to me is just a home run. It's unbelievable. And as I said, because the figure is a reissue, I feel like when it comes to reissues, it's kind of to be expected. Well, it's the same sculpt that it was before. Nevertheless, I mean, the sculpt is fantastic. I mean, it's Rhodes from no matter which angle. I like to try to give it the angle test, and what I mean by that is when I have a head sculpt, like the So-So Toys Kingpin review that I did that's on my channel, when you look at it from dead on, it looks just like the actor. But as you start to move it to certain directions, sometimes the sculpt loses its likeness, but this is not one. You could literally do a side profile, you could do 3/4, you can do up, you can do down. The likeness is there. It's dead on. It's unbelievable. Blown away by this. Obviously, I'm definitely gushing over it a little more because this is my one and only sculpt of Rhodes. So if I had multiples, just like Iron Man, it's kind of like, okay, yeah, it's great, move on to the next one. But for me, it doesn't take away from the fact that this is just an unbelievable sculpt in the likeness. And like as I said, the little jaw piece drops down as it would in the movie. And here's a damaged faceplate that would go on it. So it's magnetic, so the faceplate goes on, and then the bottom piece slides up, and that's the battle damaged version. As I said, I will have this on the figure when we convert it to the battle damage mode. But as you can see, really great texturing there, weathering on the mask to simulate the final battle. So that's really great. Now here's all the accessories that actually come with the figure, and there's quite a lot of things here. The biggest set of accessories are all battle damaged accessories. So for example, this is the plate that goes over, you would swap out, take off the front plate, and this is the front plate that would go on it, the chest plate that shows and simulates a lot of battle damage. As you can see, there's some really great texturing there. And the paint application to simulate the bullet holes, the bullet punctures, the ripped parts, a little paint application of the flag there, the stars. It's really great. It's really awesome. And that's what all these pieces are here, like a shoulder plate. Once again, damage there, paint. So these are swappable pieces. Same thing, and it's really nice when you move it, depending on how the light hits it, you see a little more light paint there. Really nice. So that's what these are all. These are kind of duplicates, but they're all panels that actually go on the figure. It also comes with a set of hands, as you can see here. So you have some hands that are fixed power poses, I call them. So this one's an open palm to simulate the repulsor light up feature. So there's lights in the arm, so this would light up as well. But this is really nice paint application, gunmetal. So you have a left and a right, and then you also have an articulated version too. So each little hand, each little finger for that matter, is articulated, so you can do a couple different, you can do fist or anything like that. So you have a pair of these as well. Like I said, the paint application is on point. It's pretty standard with a lot of the figure releases. And this one figure specifically has one hand that's different, which is the salute. So it comes with the right hand, which is the salute, which replicates the scene when War Machine makes his debut at the Stark Expo. He does a salute with all of the hammer drones before they all get, they turn evil by Whiplash and start attacking everybody. So that does come with the salute hands that you can pose your figure like that. It also comes with a broken chain gun end, so you can swap out the chain gun and put this on there. I believe at the end the chain gun does get damaged, so it has damaged tips that you could swap and put on. And of course, the ex-wife. Tiny little bugger. I don't want to drop it. There's the ex-wife, which is supposed to be the most powerful weapon, but as we know in the movie, a complete dud, but nice to have. So as you can see, a really great amount of accessories, and I like the idea that it gives you the figure option to display it in two different ways. You have the, like I said, the clean version, which is what I showed you previously, or you can swap these pieces out and do a battle damaged, especially if you have the Iron Man Mark 6, which I do believe has the battle damaged option as well. So those two figures are really great together. As I said, I really hope, fingers crossed, Hot Toys is hearing this. And despite what a lot of maybe veteran collectors would like, I really do hope that we do see a Mark 6 reissue, only for those like myself who have been collecting fairly early on and haven't had a chance to get those grails that are too much money now. So that, I mean, the 6 and this would pair fantastically together. So what I'll do now is I will swap out all the damaged pieces and show you what the figure looks like with the damaged plates. And then what we'll do is we'll do some posing with the figure, and I'll pose him up with the Iron Man Mark 7, which is my closest that I have. And I'll also do it with the Mark 5, because surprisingly, those two figures look really great together, even though, like I said, they shared no screen time whatsoever. You know, for the sake of suspending our belief for a moment, we're gonna pose them up because they look really fantastic, so stay tuned. Hey everybody, so I'm back, and what I did was I took the figure and I swapped out all of the clean plates that were available to the battle damage ones. And what I also did was I kind of posed them up quickly on the base that came along to kind of give you an idea of everything that it comes with. And I gotta say, I'm usually torn between figures that have battle damaged accessories, whether to display them like that. But I gotta say, this one I might actually leave battle damaged for a while and then swap them out later, because it looks amazing, as you can see. So what I did was a couple things to note. The chain gun, I swapped it out to the broken tip so you can see what that looks like without the full gun. The face plate, the chest plate, and also the shoulder plate, those all had to be swapped out. One thing to take note of, be very delicate with the chest plate, because there is a flexible piece here in the torso for a little bit of ab crunching. That is all part of the swap out. So as you can see here, and I'll show you the clean plate. This is the clean one. This little piece down here, it does have some flexibility. As you can see, it's like spring loaded right there. So just be careful when removing this. What I did was I pulled it from right here on the sides until I felt that it was loose. It was on there pretty tight, which is a good thing, but don't pull it from here because this piece could possibly snap. Pull it right here from the sides. And once that side kind of pops, I did the other side and then the whole plate came off. The same thing with the shoulder here. When I popped the shoulder off, right here, as you can see, this is the replacement. It's actually on how the hands are like on a ball joint, so just be careful with removing that as well. When you remove the shoulder, it's on a swivel, but there's also a little ball joint that goes into this. I'll try to zoom in right there. So once again, be careful removing that as well to swap out. Those are the two things I would advise. But as you can see, it looks really phenomenal. I tried replicating a pose. I remember in one of the fighting scenes at the end, he had both arms out and basically going full blast with everything. The shotguns on the left and the right side, those pop down, so you have more, more range of motion with that, which is really great. Both these compartments open up. There's a lot of odds and ends. It almost feels like a transformer in one way. And then as you can see, this piece opens up, and then the ex-wife missile slides right in there. So I kind of put everything together so you get an idea. But the arms there as well. So there was a couple damaged plates here and there. And also take note, there were some magnetic plates here. When I first showed the figure, I think these were off. These are magnetic plates, thigh plates that go on both sides. As well as the back, I'll take the figure off the stand for a moment. And on the back side, there's these two jet repulsors. Those are battle damage, those are magnets. So those go in, that way as well. But I said the figure itself is really phenomenal. For the value that you're getting, it really comes with a lot of stuff. Has a lot of weight to it, a lot of die cast. So this is a really, really, really great figure overall. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take them off here and take them off the display stand. I'm gonna pose them up with a couple other Iron Man figures just to get a nice sense of scale and also just companionship with something else to give it some contrast. I really love the silver and the gunmetal, really nice. And when you see it with the Iron Man, it really does pop with the red and gold. So give me a moment and I'll swap those out and show you what those look like. Here you go, guys. This is the War Machine Mark 1 posed up, battle damage still, posed up with the Iron Man Mark 7. As I said, these two did not share any screen time. They're from two completely different movies, but like I said, for the sake of the review, I don't have a Mark 6, so I thought that I would share with you some idea. The Mark 7 is still probably one of my top 3 Iron Man suits. I'm gonna try to get an angle for you right there. That's a great shot right there. The Iron Man Mark 7 is one of my top 3 favorite suits. Iron Man, the Mark 3 is my favorite. Mark 1, and then probably the 7. 6 though it's growing on me. Probably when I get one in hand, I'll probably love it more. But as you can see, the 7 is a really beefy guy and then after the 7, they started getting a little bit slimmer. So the 7 really is, I know, a fan favorite because it's the last of the big bulky suits. But this posed up with the War Machine is it's unbelievable. So if you don't have a Mark 7, I mean, the Mark 6 is just phenomenal. As you can see, this pose right here, I did some photography shots with it earlier, but they just look really great together. 2 beefy boys, really nice. As you can see, they really hold their own. So that's the Mark 7 with the Mark 1 War Machine. And the color just pops. The muted gray gunmetal compared to the gold and the red that really just jumps off. Unbelievable. Like I said, I had a chance to photograph these guys together and the colors just look phenomenal together. So just give me a moment and I'm going to swap out the 7 and we're going to put the Mark 5 in there and see what they look like. Hey everybody, so I'm back, and as promised, here is the War Machine Mark 1 paired up with the Iron Man Mark 5. And as I said multiple times, these two did not share any screen time together. However, they're my figures, and in my universe, they share screen time right now. And they look phenomenal, especially since I was doing some photography with the Mark 5. I had it in battle damage mode, and honestly, it was just sheer luck that I had them together. So they look like they shared a nice battle together. And they look really great. I have an Iron Man only shelf in my setup, but I might display these two guys together separately until I acquire a Mark 6 down the road, either through a reissue or I go backwards and try to find one. But I really love how the Mark 5 with a lot of the exposed silver, minimal red scheme really kind of compares and really does blend well with the War Machine Mark 1. These two look really, really awesome together. Like I said, I really think you can mix and match and you really can't go wrong. I'm gonna try to zoom in and get you a better shot there. But these two look phenomenal. Battle damage, beat up. They've seen some battles. They've been through some wars. And like I said, the color contrast just really pops on them. They look really, really awesome. I really do feel like there's certain figures that you could pair them up anyway. They don't have to be with anything specific, and they just work really well together. And this is a keen example of the Mark 1 War Machine, and you can throw any Iron Man in there, and I really do think it works out. I know the Mark 7 comes with battle damage plates, so you could swap them out, and it really works well together. The War Machine has a really fantastic shelf presence. I can't wait to get him in the shelf, dressed up, posed the way he should be. I'll use the diorama base, like I said, for some figure photography. But like I said, overall, it's a fantastic figure. So just wrapping up my final thoughts on the Hot Toys War Machine Mark 1. I think it's a fantastic figure. I really like that Hot Toys went back into the vault and reissued this one. They obviously saw that there was a demand for the figure. One reason or another. I know there was a little bit of a surge of an Iron Man 2 reissue, the Mark 5, even the Whiplash figure I know got reissued, so this was definitely next in line to get that treatment. But if you're a War Machine enthusiast, you can't have this, you know, not in the collection if you have everything else. Or if you're like me and you only wanted one figure to represent the character the best to its ability, this is the figure. I just can't see myself owning a different War Machine and not have this one. This is, to me, the definitive War Machine version to have if you were to only get one. Comes with a plethora of accessories to change it out in terms of 2 styles, clean, battle damaged. I think the base is fantastic, offers a lot of versatility, not only to this figure, but photography or posing to other figures that you want to have on the base. So there's a lot of versatility with this. All die cast, so there's a lot of weight to it, just like everything else. But this is definitely one that you got to have in the collection, and it serves multiple purposes. Like I said, if you're a War Machine collector and you're army building War Machines, or you really only need the one definitive, this is the guy to get. I think I'm going to have him posed with the battle damage for now, and I'm going to have him next to the Mark 5, and then maybe swap him out down the road. But it makes me want to go after an Iron Man Mark 6 to properly have the 2 guys together. So As I said, this is Mr. Mom Collectibles. I appreciate you guys watching this review. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the channel. Check out some other stuff I have coming down the road, and I really appreciate it, guys. And until the next video, have a good rest of your day.